Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Dev, where today we're continuing work on our dodgeball game with roguelike elements. Now last time we finally started dipping our toes into the roguelite portion of our Dodgeball Roguelite, with the addition of player classes. These classes came with their own abilities, which affected everything from ball control to giving players movement options. And though they will need work in the future, we were actually able to code working versions of each ability into the game without many, if any, issues. Now for the sake of my sanity, there were only 6 player classes. However, those aren't the only classes in the game, which brings us to today's plan. We will start adding classes for the CPU opponents. That's right, not only will the opposing side have their own classes, but will also be adding their own abilities for those classes. However, first we're going to do some tweaking to the base gameplay values, which is something we should have taken care of a while ago. Now that sounds like a plan, so let's get to the coding. First up was to increase the general player linear damping and base movement speed. And this tightened up the movement to be less quote-unquote slippery. Now I'll explain this change further later on, but for now it was on to the CPU classes. Enums for the new classes were added to the list, including the addition of the neutral class with no special abilities. Next, heading back over to our player object, the first class up was the Splitter. When destroyed, this class would create 2 enemy units in its place. Only these 2 new units would be basic with no special abilities. Now, it was hard to tell at first whether this was working. However, after labeling units, it was clear that a ball eliminating splitters could also eliminate their spawns on the next frame. And to fix this, a ball would be completely reset when eliminating splitters, thus allowing splitters to split and behave like they're meant to. And so now with the splitters working, it was on to the next class. The second class was the Shooter, which worked exactly the same as the player's Able class. And so while active, the CPU is unable to be eliminated, and much like the player, they would turn blue while in their shielded phase. And it was here that I realized a huge oversight. The cooldown system lacked a way to differentiate between the end of the skill's active window and the general skill's cooldown. And so through various tweaks during the session, the best course of action seemed to be, well, have each CPU class's cooldown be 120 frames long and use their array cooldown data as their skill's active timer. It would work for now, but a note has been made that this system is going to need a bit of a redo to properly address the issue. But again, for now, the CPU were able to shield as the Shooter, so we could move on. Now, class number 3 was Strange, which coincidentally is also the name of the class itself. First, a curse variable is added to the ball object. Next, the Strange would require the CPU to choose one of the balls in play at random. Once chosen, the Strange would then set that ball's curse state to true, which would also tint it purple. Next, a curse boolean and curse direction variable would be added to the player, with the new direction variable being added to the movement and facing directions. And finally, if the player picks up a cursed ball, the player is then cursed, causing them to face and move in random directions. Now, the initial version of this effect was actually too effective, and while I would have liked to keep it, the toned down version was far more manageable from a player perspective. And sadly, that's all I had time to get to this session. We're about halfway through the planned CPU classes, which we'll finish up next time. This session unfortunately ran into a ton of speed bumps, the skill cooldown issue being a fine example. So hopefully next time things will go smoother. Now, one final thing I wanted to note is the linear damping and movement tweaks were made due to not only gameplay reasons, but also technical reasons. Apparently, changing the physics-based values for objects requires rebinding them with the updated data, which in testing off video didn't go too well. And due to an obvious lack of time, I wasn't able to figure it out. Which means a portion of the game's features, namely anything that alters these particular properties, won't be possible. In other words, things like slippery floors of some sort or the weirder meta things I had planned will not be possible for the time being. With that said, however, there's still a lot left to look forward to, but for now that brings us to the end of today's episode of Let's Dev. So remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the episode, subscribe and turn on notifications if you haven't already, and leave your thoughts on our progress in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.